Welcome back everybody to Planescape Torment. Well, after last episode we've been told to go poke around in the brothel of insatiable lusts. I have no idea what I am going to be encountering. Fall from Grace? Well, that's a patron. We don't really want to be talking to him, so let's talk to Fall from Grace. Before you is a stunning golden-haired woman dressed in azure and a violet dress, with two long elegant wings draped from her shoulders. She is surveying the room with a slight smile, and she is easily the most beautiful woman you have ever seen. Greetings.
Well met, traveler. How may I help you?
Ah, okay. Well, who are you?
Updated my journal.
I am called Fall from Grace. She studies you for a moment. You are new to Sigil, are you not? Yes I am. Does it show? She smiles slightly. Not as much as you might think. You carry yourself quite well. What is this place? This is the brothel of Slaking intellectual lusts. She studies you for a moment. I take it by your question that you did not intend to partake in this establishment. Brothel of Slaking intellectual lust. What kind of brothel is this? I established this brothel to give the most lustful fevers that strike the mind more avenues of expression rather than just the simply carnal. Much pleasure can be had in conversation and engaging in the verbal arts with others. Sounds dull. I assure you it is not. Tour the brothel and see for yourselves. So this is a brothel where there's no intercourse. Only of a psychological nature. Rest assured, it is still quite stimulating. I have to ask, why did you establish such a place? Fall from Grace raises an eyebrow. That is an odd question, she frowns. I don't think anyone has ever asked me that, at least directly. My apologies, Lady Grace. I didn't mean to be so direct. I was just merely curious. Oh, no apologies are necessary. I am more than happy to discuss the reasons with you, if you wish. Yes, I would like to hear them. Part of the answer to your question requires that you know that I am a member of the Society of Sensation. Our faction believes that one should experience as much of the multiverse as possible. And that is why you established this place? The brothel is intended to slake the lust even of the hardened intellectual. It is designed to stimulate the mind, to heighten one's awareness of themselves and others, to create new ways of experiencing another person, for those who seek something more than the shallow physical pleasures that fill the hive and lower wards. Can I ask some of your other questions? If I may ask, Lady Grace, the wings on your back, you are not human, I take it. I am Fall from Grace, she smiles slightly. Can you be you have forgotten me already? No, not at all. She laughs slightly, then relaxes to a smile. Very well, then I will forgive you. Fall from Grace, that's an interesting name. I am pleased that you like it, but I am sure that you did not come all the way to flatter me. What can I help you with? What is this place? Yeah. We've done all this, done all that. Okay, can I ask you some questions, other questions first? Have you ever heard of a night hag named Ravel? I am familiar with the name. Fall from Grace pauses and thinks for a moment. Rumours cluster thickly about that name, and most tend to discount her as myth, but I suspect that she did exist and she made some quite impression on the cage during her stay here. She looks puzzled. Why do you ask? I intend to seek her out. Grace raises her eyebrow. Truly? I find myself compelled to ask why. I have information that she has. Is this information available from no one else? I suspect only Ravel possesses the knowledge I need.
Updated my journal.
Grace rests her hand lightly on your arm. Consider this. If Ravel does indeed exist, she is extremely powerful and cunning. If a fraction of the stories of her activities are true, then she is a creature that has discovered new meanings of evil. To search her out is not a quest to be undertaken lightly. I realize that. Do you know anything else about Ravel? She was said to be one of the hags of the Grey Waste, and she was believed to possess powers and a cunning far beyond those of her sisters. She came to Sigil long ago. In addition to the evils she committed during her stay, rumour has it that the actions threatened the cage itself. Now she primarily exists only as fiction, a figure in children's stories. Grace pauses. I imagine the Lady of Pain dealt with her as all threats to Sigil are dealt with. Is there anyone else who would know about her?
Updated my journal.
Someone in the Fiesel may know about her. Yeah, we've already been there, done that. Do you know what happened to Ravel?
Updated my journal.
Ravel was most likely sent to a maze, one of the ladies' prison. Mazes? What are those?
Updated my journal.
Grace places her hands together, thumbs and fingers touching, forming a rough circle. The lady is said to have the power to take the pieces of Sigil. You watch in surprise as a ghostly image of Grace's little finger pulls itself from the hand and floats in the air, curling into a small circle, and make it a maze. Go on. The small ghostly circle floats in the air and slowly begins rotating. The piece of Sigil she takes holds the prisoner. There is no escaping being mazed. It can happen at any time, while walking down the street, through a door. She clasps her hand, and then you are somewhere else. Inside the ghostly circle you can suddenly see a flicker of moment, as like someone walking inside. Go on. Grace continues. The tiny little ghost maze reflects in her eyes. It is said there is a portal that leads out of each maze. They are difficult to find. Perhaps they are left in to give the prisoner hope. Perhaps they are left in to torture the prisoner. The ghostly maze dissolves. Perhaps it is both. Okay. I see. Can you tell me more about this place that the Ravel is from, the Grey Wastes? A blighted plain that lies effectively between Baitor and the Abyss. It is frequently a battleground in the Blood War. Is there anyone who... Do you know what happened to Ravel? Yeah, okay. Can I ask any some other questions? I came here looking for help. Perhaps you can help me. Help? What kind of help were you looking for? I seem to have lost my memories. In doing so, I've lost myself. You have been stricken with amnesia. Fall from Grace looks pained. How terrible. Do you have any idea how it happened? Not really. At least not that I can remember. I woke up in a slab in the mortuary, and everything before that is black. I think the dustman... You awoke in the mortuary? I think the dustman mistook me for being dead. Or I was dead. Or something. All I know is that I regenerate wounds quickly. I could be immortal, but I don't even know that for sure. Fall from Grace seems to be appraising you with renewed interest. Those scars on your body. She reaches out a hand as if to touch you. May I? Yes. Fall from Grace drags her finger across your chest lightly, tracing the edges of your scars and following the curves of where they blend into some of your tattoos. She seems fascinated. These scars do look as if they would take several lifetimes to accumulate. They certainly do, although some are more recent. Fall from Grace steps back. Some of those wounds would have been fatal to a normal man. She taps her chin, thinking, what do you intend to do now? I don't know really. For the moment, I'm just searching for clues of who I am and what happened to me. Fall from Grace is still thinking. Her fingers taps on her chin. I must say, I've never met a man who has lost himself in the literal sense. She raises an eyebrow. Forgive me, but your condition is intriguing. It is that. Fall from Grace nods. If it will help, you are welcome to tour the brothel. Several of our students are well versed in the verbal arts. Some of them will be able to rekindle your memories. I'm grateful. May I go speak with them? I may go speak with them. Farewell.
Updated my journal.
Alright, I've got a really bad feeling that this is going to be very similar to the Sensate Stones.
Done.
It'd be nice if I could actually rest. Could I actually rest here? Cannot rest in this area. Well, that was worth a shot. Juliet. Okay. This dark-haired young woman is staring listfully off into space, sighing miserably and occasionally picking at the seams of her green velvet gown. It's difficult to discern whether she's depressed or simply bored. Greetings. She gives you only the briefest of glances before staring off into the distance once more. Greetings, yes, I am named Juliet. How may I? Oh, never thou mine. Leave me be, please. She gives an exasperated sigh. What's wrong? Oh, nothing at all. Only I spend my days gazing into the face of mediocrity, seeing if anything can erase its dreadful, tedious passage. Is your life so tedious? Alas, it is, she sighs, closing her eyes and massaging her temples. Dreadfully boring. Perhaps I could make it less boring for you, my lady. No, no, 'tis kind of thee to offer, though. I am already with a man, sir. I do love him dearly. 'Tis that I wish, she taps her finger against his chin, something more of our liaison. Is the relationship lacking then? The only thing it lacks is excitement, sir. Our families took the news of our courtship splendidly. His siblings loved my siblings, and our friends think our union be blessed by the powers themselves. All is fine and good, but things are going, she frowns, so smoothly. 'Tis right not to have such a trouble-free courtship. I don't know about that. Dost thou not? Hast thou ever had bad such a courtship? She glances briefly at you. 'Twould be seem that thy life is filled with a variety of problems, judging by the pallor of thy skin. I can't remember any courtships that I've had. The remnants of ones I've encountered suggest that I may have had some problems. 'Tis just that my friends have such interesting relationships. One's fraught with turmoil, feuding families, daggers at each of one another's backs, poison, mad siblings, and irate fathers with large swords. I have a lover whose family loves me, and whom the world loves. She sighs again, a great source of annoyance. How I wish I could formulate some way to spice things up. Mort floats close to you, whispering, I feel sorry for a lover. He doesn't know how bad he has it. The shit like this is nothing but trouble. What did you have in mind, Juliet? I am not sure. Some element of danger or jealousy or something intense. I can pretend to be a jealous suitor if you want. Juliet glances at you, then scoffs. Oh, I highly doubt the... actually, that idea, just not as half as addled as I once thought. thou dost certainly look dangerous enough. She looks you in the eye as if appraising a horse. Art thou as rugged and tough as thy appearance would indicate? They don't make me any tougher than me, I assure you. Thou shalt do this for me then? Yes, I'll do it. Excellent. My love, Montague, may be found within the Cephalic vessel. I must thank thee. Wait, Montague? Ah, whoops. There's a problem. He's been killed.
Updated my journal.
Juliet scoffs. What? This must be some cruel game thou art playing with me. She suddenly gasps and covers her mouth. No, no, I can see thou speak true. He was dueling again, wasn't he? Something like that, yes. Juliet looks shocked and seconds later begins to whimper and cry pitifully. It's a shame that it's turned out this way. I'll come back another time, Juliet. Farewell. Whoops. Oh, no. Had I only come here first. Well, whoops.
All right.
That came back and bit me in the bum. Nenny Nine Eyes. Oh my goodness. This petite, attractive young woman is smiling blissfully and humming to herself. Her wide, pale blue eyes seem to be constantly drinking in her surroundings as she looks about. Greetings. The smiling young woman curtsies gratefully and looks up at you smiling. Well met, good sir. I'm Nenny. How are you this fine She suddenly notices your scars and places a gloved hand over her mouth. Oh my, you're hurt. She blinks. All over. Mort spins around you, mocking the girl's observation. Powers above, Chief, she's right. I've never noticed it before. You're covered in scars. Only slightly, I'll be alright. She nods quietly, lowering her hand. I had some questions. Huh? She can't seem to tear away from her eyes away from your scars. Oh, how shameful of me. Don't mind my rude staring. I'm named Nenny. She makes a little curtsy, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to our brothel of the slaking of intellectual lusts. She returns to staring at your body. You have tattoos under those scars too. What's that one? She points to one of your tattoos. That one's... looks fascinating. Look at the lines of ink. I think that's ink. She squints at a tattoo and reaches out to touch it. Oh, well, I'll allow her to touch me. I think that's ink. She traces her finger around the edge of the tattoo. Is it ink? And what a pattern. Look at the way that the lines intersect here. She touches the center of her tattoo. That's simply amazing. She purses her lips and frowns in disappointment. I wish I could make out better if there weren't so many scars. Well, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to be done about the scars. They're permanent. Oh, I'm sorry, so sorry. Pox on me for even mentioning them, she grinses. But I have to know. You're absolutely sure you're alright? Looking at you, I can't help to believe you're not in some pain. I have amnesia, but that's about all. Amnesia? Nenny blinks and brightens. Loss of memory, you're so lucky. She chimes in perkily. Everything must be so new to you. That's an angle I hadn't considered. Nenny claps her hands delightedly. I'm so pleased I could open your mind to that idea. I've heard that being a sensate is all about bringing new experiences to others. Yes, I have some other questions. Do you know anything about Ravel Poswell?
Updated my journal.
No, sorry. That's a great game. Great name, though. I bet she's be a really interesting person. Hey, you should have asked Yives about her. Yives collects all kinds of stories. That's all I wish to know. Farewell, Nenny. Well. Yives. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we might as well go around to...
I'm gone.
All the intellectual brothel people. This striking young woman has the skin of skin the color of burnished copper. A translucent white dress held precariously by golden clasps is draped carefully over a shapely form. Greetings. The woman nods and smiles briefly. The scent of her hair, sweetly perfumed, fills your nostrils. I have some questions. She nods. Can you tell me about this place? She looks at you, then raises an eyebrow. Can you speak? She shakes her head and smiles sadly at you.
Updated my journal.
I love this chit already. Can you write then, or pantomime? She pouts, shaking her head. May I ask why you can't communicate? She sighs softly and nods. Actually, let me ask you about something else. Who are you? She smiles and curtsies but offers no response. Never mind, farewell.
I'm gone.
Yives. Yives. Can I rest in this room? You may not rest in this area.
All right. I'm gone.
Nobody in that room.
I'm gone.
Hello? Anybody in here? No. Kisai Sirius. Curious. This alarming voluptuous woman has a thick mane of wavy, raven-coloured hair, bluish skin, and a shimmering crimson eyes like rubies, which have fires lit behind them. Although she is not beautiful in the typical sense of the word, her features are exotic and not altogether unattractive. Greetings. The woman's voice is deep and sensuous. And my greetings to you, sir. Her burning eyes roam all over you. I am Kasai Cerise. So tell me, what might I do for you? Anything! Mort cries. Do anything you want me to. Kasai laughs heartily, revealing canines long enough to be considered fangs. She shakes her head and smiles at Mort. Truly though, please, what can I do for you? Well, what do you usually do for patrons? Talk, of course, usually about dreams, often those erotic in nature, but not always. Kesai winks at you, smiling. Would you like to tell me yours? Don't be shy, I've heard everything you know. Nothing will shock or surprise me. I so love to hear people's dreams. We can trade if you like, too, but you must go first. I don't have dreams, actually. Kesai arches her eyebrows in surprise. Truly, how sad. Even fiends and divas have dreams, you know. Are you certain you don't? Quite certain. No dreams at all. Too peculiar. I'm at a loss to say why. Well, I did have some questions. What can you tell me about the silent prostitute?
Updated my journal.
Oh, that's Echo. She's very sweet and so quiet. I understand she has said something once which caused some great tragedy, and because of that she'll never speak again. Kesai shrugs and smilingly. An interesting enough story. I don't know if it's true. Try asking Delora. I've seen her talking to an ex-lover of Echo, back from a time when Echo was speaking. Okay, well that's all I wanted to know. Farewell. So we speak to Delora and Yives. And there's nobody in that room.
I'm gone. I'm
Go
gone.
on. Kimazi Editung. Interesting. The wild-looking tiefling girl meets your gaze with an angry scowl. Her tattooed body is practically naked, covered only by a narrow leather thong and a black cloth brassiere, and an armoured shoulder pads that appear to serve more as decoration rather than actual protection. Her spiked hair, as well as the thin fur that covers her goat-like legs, is brassy white, and numerous silver rings dangle from her ears, nostril, lips, and brow. She wears a leather collar around her neck and with the inscription Kimazi at her tongue. Greetings. Kimazi bares her teeth at you. And what are you looking at, you banged up sod? My friend thought you were attractive, but whoa, was he ever horribly mistaken? She sneers at Mort and then looks below him where her body should normally be. Sharp tongue for a stemless deader. Let him keep at it. Like I let mine anywhere near you if I had one. When I hear the word brothel, I think you would make some jinking here, you flea-bitten gutter whore. Ha! You can't believe they even let you in the door. What with that ticks off you, those shaggy legs. Let them go. Ticks? The only annoying insect around here is you. She turns at you. Hey, you here to talk to me or what? Or what? What else could I do with you? What did you have in mind, you sodding jawbox? Go ahead. Give me a reason to say no to you. What do you usually do for patrons? I'm a practitioner of abuse. What does that mean? I'll show you. Her hand lashes you out to slap your face, but you manage to barely dodge the blow. Kim's eye pouts visibly and then scowls. Oh well. Say, could you teach Mort to be more abusive? She raises an eyebrow. Now that's an unusual request. I don't know. It seems pretty foul-mouthed already. That's he. It seems pretty foul-mouthed. Kim sighed, bladder dung, you scruffy goat-gammed harlot. At her tongue, you wish you had legs like mine, you pitiful wretch of a bone box. I can walk, run, dance. What can you do? Bob around wishing you had a pair? Goats or otherwise? The two of them lay into each other, exchanging barbed, blistering insults and clashing with razor-edged tongues. Wait for it to end. At last, the two stop their bickering. An eerie silence settles over them, and they eye one each other hatefully. Finally, the tiefling makes a grudging admission to Mort. You're not bad, really. Not bad at all. Better than you, perhaps? Mort waggles his eyebrows at her. Hey? Kim Sai narrows her eyes at Mort. Don't push it, skull.
New taunts, all right.
I won't, tiefling. I will admit I might have learnt a thing or two. Though, good thinking, Chief. Sure thing, Mort. Kim Sai turns to you. So, was that all you wanted? I'm not spending any more time near you. I'm not spending any more time near you than I have to. Well, that's it for now. Farewell. She rolls her eyes. Pike off, then.
I'm gone.
Well, so Mort's got some more
All right.
insults. Yves the Tail Chaser. Now, this is the one we want to talk about, Ravel, but Dolores we want to check in with. Greetings. I am Yves the Tail Chaser. What a coincidence! I too chase tails, says Mort. Yves continues unperturbed. Have you come to trade tails? I'd like to trade tails. Yves knows. I'd like that very much, yes. Tell her of the story of the alley of lingering sighs. Yves leans forward as you tell the tale of the alley giving birth. She seems to devalue every word. As you finish, she smiles at you. I will remember this tale, and now I have one for you. Before I must ask, did you know what a modron is? No. Modrons are creatures of total law, almost more machinery than living beings. They are many different sorts of modron. They all have their place in a very rigid, carefully organised hierarchy. So dedicated are they to this system that they cannot communicate with or even consider the existence of modrons who are not their immediate superiors or inferiors. I understand now. Then I shall tell you the tale of the clock and the quadranome. Go on. Once upon a time, there existed a Modron. It was newly created, its logic fresh and untested, and it come to Sigil, following the commands of its Modron superiors. Go on. I knew of nothing of commands and dictates, of obedience and passing along the orders of its superiors. For you see, Modrons are only aware of the commands of their immediate superiors, and they have no grasp of a higher authority, until this one. One day it came upon a small shop, within which there was a small clock that could no longer tell time. It was cracked along the edges, the wheels of its hands broken. The Modron immediately set to work itself at getting the parts to fix the broken clock. It made a new wooden housing for the clock's parts, replaced the bent springs, carefully filed and oiled the clockwork machinery, and carved new hands from the sparse metal available to it. The newly repaired clock's precise ticking reminded of the great gears of the Mechanicus, and it comforted it as much as it may comfort a Modron. What the Modron never came to understand, that it was truly loved by this clock, that it had been worked on, and for reasons it could not explain, elected to remain in Signal to be with the clock for the rest of its years. I have another tale to share with you. Tell of a story of the waking up in the mortuary. Yves leans forward. You tell this tale of waking in the dustman's mortuary. Seems about okay. I shall remember this tale. I will tell a tale of the dustman. Chapters of dust. Go on. There are chapters in the Dead Book, the massive tome of the Dustman keep that records the passing of all the lives into the eternal boundary. In this book there are chapters that are naught but dust, and it is believed that the names therein are the lost souls who cannot die, and must suffer eternal life, or life eternally, until history itself dies and grants them release. Interesting. I have another tale to share. Ask one of the companions. Mort, do you have a story to trade? Me? Why do I have to tell a story? Just tell a story, Mort. Fine. An elderly man was sitting on a dark path right. He wasn't too certain of which direction to go. He'd forgotten both where he was travelling to and where he was. He sat down for a moment to rest his weary legs, and suddenly looked up to see an elderly woman before him. She grinned toothlessly and with a cackle spoke, "Now your third wish. What will it be?" Third wish? The man was baffled. How can it be a third wish if I hadn't had the first and second? You've had two wishes already, the hag said, but your second wish was for me to return everything to the way it was before you had made the first wish. That's why you remember nothing, because everything it is the way it was before you made any wishes. She cackled at the poor Burke. So that it is that you have one wish left. Go on, Mort. All right, said the man. I don't believe this, but there's no harm in wishing. I wish to know who I am. Funny, the old woman said as she granted him his wish and disappeared forever. That was your first wish. Yves smiles. An interesting tale, Mort. And now I've got one for you and your companion. The Fiend's Game. A fiend sometimes wanders the wilderness of a certain prime world in the guise of a friendly old man. One day he came upon some hunters in the wood. What are you doing? The fiend asked. The hunters told him, and the fiend nodded. I had never been on a hunt before. The hunters invited the old man to come along, and the group eventually came across the glade where several deer were grazing. The hunters carried crossbows, but did not fire, and the fiend asked them why. They are unarmed, the hunters chuckled, patting their crossbows. We hunt nothing that does not have the ability to defend itself. After all, where is the sport in that? The fiend nodded at this and promptly gated in three of his fellows. The hunters led them on a merry chase, but eventually they were caught and eaten. I have another tale to share. Anna, do you have a story to trade? Aye, but I'm not good at telling such things, I'm not. She frowns and waves her hands as if trying to shoo away the idea. Don't ask me for such nonsense now. Yive smiles at Anna. But I would very much like to hear your story. Please share your story, Anna. Come on already, Fiendling. You've already had one tale you won't part with. Okay. Anna looks uncomfortably, her tail lashing slowly back and forth. Well, I know one story. She suddenly becomes angry, glaring at Yives. But you might not like it. You won't, and don't be blaming me for choking it out of me. Go ahead. Anna scowls and finally relents with an exasperating sigh. I heard a story when I was a wee lass. This Burke's walking home real late near Anti-Peak and passes one old toothless crone in a dark and otherwise empty street. Where you going? She asks him. Home to me wife and Kip, he says. Near the slags? She asks him. Sure enough, he says. She asks him a favour, to take a box she's got to the debtor's pit and give it to the woman there. Now this Burke's got a real sap too. Too nice to say no despite the fact he's sure something's not quite right about this old crone, and agrees. But what's this woman's name, he asks. Where does she live? Where should I look for him when she's not by the debtor's pit? The woman hands him the box, a wooden thing wrapped in a coloured cloth, and tells him just to go and she'll be there. Finally she warns him, and whatever you do not open the box. So he takes it home with his and hides it in his rafters, thinking he'll bring it to the debtor's pit when it's light out. His wife, though, seeing him hide the box, gets right jealous and thinking it's a gift for a lover or something, and opens it up as soon as he's not looking. It turns out the box was full of gouged out eyes and several male members with the hair still on them. Her scream brought the Burke running, and he remembered what the crone said. Got right scared and wrapped the box back up. He went out straight away to the debtor's pit. Sure enough, there's another old hag waiting for him. He hands her the box and she says to him, the box has been opened and looked into. The poor Burke tries to deny it, but he gets this dreadful look on her face. You've done something horrible, she tells him, and disappears. That done, he hurries back to his kip. He's feeling ill, and when he gets back, he takes to bed. His wife bitterly regretting opening the box and all, but it was too late. The next day he died of a rotten disease, and the first thing was to go was his eyes and his stem. Anna nods grimly, her tale complete. That was a wonderful tale, Anna. You should never hesitate to share it. Now I've got one for you and your companion, the parched land. Once, a large village was struck by a terrible drought. A farmer journeyed to the worshipping stone, and again implored it as the cause of the drought. He asked the stone why it did nothing when the fields were parched and dying, why the animals and the people suffered, while the stone did not do a thing. Have we not given enough offerings? The farmer asked, begging almost upon his hands and knees, but the stone did not respond. It merely sat and cast its shadow. Right, I've got a question for you, Yives. Alright, let's cut straight to the chase. Do you know anything about the Ravel Puzzwell? The tale of Ravel Puzzwell, frightener of children, begins and ends with a question. What can change the nature of a man? Go on. Many were the times she posed this riddle to those who approached her, and those who sought to glean from her the strange magics she alone seems to possess. All attempted to answer her query, but to no avail. They found the price of their wrong answer to be some horrible fate, always more terrible than the last victims. To recount the various torments would be to speak of things that nightmares were woven from. Go on. The tale strikes me in this way. Ravel herself did not know the answer to this question, but she lusted for an answer. Only the why of the matter remained in question. Why did the nature of a man matter to one of the Grey Sisters, especially one such of the power as Ravel? It is said that she put the question to the Lady of Pain, not directly, but shouted it to Sigil itself, daring for the lady to answer. When no answer was forthcoming, she wove terrible magics that threatened to open the cage and let the fury of the plains roll in like a wave. She received no answer other than banishment. To this day, no one knows the answer to Ravel's question. Now there is no one to petition, for Ravel herself is gone, lost to the plains.
Updated my journal.
Wait, there's still more. Although my tale ends with Ravel's demise, there are some that claim that the hag still lives. There is a silent prostitute here that once talked of such things, but she speaks no longer. If she would speak to you, she might tell you more of Ravel. What else can you tell me of this silent prostitute? Echo, ask for Delora, blah 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 blah. Okay, that's all I wish to know. And this episode has gone on way long enough. Thank you all for joining me for this episode of Planescape Torment. Thank you all for putting up with my stumbling through sentences and all that sort of bizzo. And I hope to see you in the next episode of Planescape Torment, where we get to talk to this silent prostitute. Yes. Well, I've been Raetac. I'll see you next time.